Greetings, kindred friend. There is a profound reason why monks and enlightened Zen masters have always regarded the moment right before rest as a sacred time. It is because they understand a truth that the hectic pace of life has unintentionally stripped from us. Your body does not perform its most brilliant healing work during the day, but at the fragile threshold just before you truly drift into dreams. Regrettably, most of us enter the darkness with a heavy mind. After a long day of striving in a distant land, we lie down but carry with us intact worries, nervous system tension, and unresolved grievances. Unintentionally, you force your body to sleep in survival mode, like a soldier who must stand guard even when the war has receded. When the mind does not stop, the natural recovery of cells remains forever unfinished. Monks do not heal through effort. They heal through a silent internal shift right before rest. Tonight, I want to return that very sacred secret to you. Etch this affirmation into your consciousness before beginning. Your body already inherently understands perfectly how to heal itself. Monks simply learn the art of stopping interference and imposition upon that natural process. The journey to discover ease within sleep begins right now. Lesson 1. Returning to the present, the anchor of absolute safety. Try to quietly look out the window of your bedroom at midnight when everything in this distant land has fallen completely silent. That should be the most graceful moment for the body and mind to rest. But the reality is often the opposite. You lie there, but your mind is a homeless traveler, busily journeying toward tomorrows that haven't arrived. You are managing a doctor's appointment next week, fretting over a child's plan, or feeling uneasy about something the sky may never bring. In the wisdom of monks, this is a silent escape from oneself. Your body is supported by the mattress, but your soul is lost in a future full of anxious ghosts. Kindred friend, understand the profound biological mechanism by which our brain operates. When your mind leaves the present to chase future scenarios, your nervous system immediately identifies it as a red alert signal. Even if you are in the safest home in the United States, if your mind is fighting an imaginary difficulty, the brain will default to the belief that you are in danger. In that very moment, the sympathetic nervous system is activated, the stress hormone cortisol is secreted, and the door to deep recovery is slammed shut. You cannot patch up cells while simultaneously standing guard for defense. Zen masters understand that the present is the only address of safety. Before going to sleep, they perform a decisive act of returning. They do not use willpower to force themselves to stop worrying. They use the breath to summon the consciousness back to the body. I invite you to perform this shift right now. Gently feel the cool air entering the nostrils. Feel the hands resting on the thighs. Feel the weight of your entire body sinking deep into the compassion of the mattress. The moment you bring your attention back to take refuge in physical sensations, you are sending a most decisive peace order to every nerve fiber. You are telling every cell, the war is over, the danger has passed. Now, we are allowed to rest. Listen to and feel the miraculous response of the body at this very moment. The heart rate begins to slow, rhythmic like a temple bell in the quiet night. Shoulders once tensed by responsibility suddenly drop, melting completely. Your brain begins to shift from a state of combat to a state of grace. Etch this revelation as an anchor for tonight's sleep. True healing only begins the moment your mind stops leaving the present to find certainty in the future. When you stop running away from yourself, your body will automatically perform the most radiant miracle of recovery. Tonight, the present is the most solid home protecting you. Lesson 2. Total Acceptance. The art of closing a chapter of life. Try to quietly contemplate the image of an old theater after the performance has truly ended. The lights are out, the audience has left, and the velvet curtain has closed completely. Yet, our silent tragedy is that even after lying down in bed, we secretly sneak back into that theater, light candles ourselves, and try to reenact the scenes of today. Kindred friend, do you recognize the weary, ruminating habit of your mind every night? We toss and turn over an unkind word from a loved one, regret an incomplete decision abroad, or silently judge ourselves for minor mistakes. We bring an entire courtroom to bed, where we play both the defendant and the weary lawyer trying to fix what has already receded into the past. Through the lens of healing, every time you stir up a pain or an irritation, your nervous system cannot distinguish between memory and reality. To the brain, if you are still thinking about the hurt, it means the hurt is actually happening right now. As a result, your body is forced to secrete more stress chemicals, the heart rate increases again, and muscles tighten to protect you. You are forcing your body to endure a storm a second, third, and thousandth time just through recollection. Monks understand a deep wisdom called acceptance. Before sleep, they perform a sacred ritual of renunciation. They understand that each day is a small lifetime, and when night falls, that lifetime must be fully completed. They do not try to fix the past, for they know that ashes do not need a fire kept. I invite you to perform this shift right this moment. Take a deep breath, feel the weight of your body, and silently tell your consciousness, today has truly closed. Everything happened as it was meant to be. Right now, there is nothing more to fix. When you dare to declare such a decisive closing, you are performing the greatest act of compassion for yourself. You allow the nervous system to unplug from background anxiety programs. When the mind stops reopening old wounds, life force will automatically flow back to mend the cracks in your neurons. All long-held tension will automatically dissolve like mist meeting the morning sun. Etch this truth to soothe your being. The body relaxes when the mind stops reopening the past. Tonight, allow today to rest in peace. You have done the best you could. Entrust everything incomplete to the compassion of the night. For only when you drop the luggage of the old day are you light enough to fly into the kingdom of rebirth. Lesson 3. The art of not believing in mental illusions. Imagine your mind right now is like an old radio, constantly broadcasting turbulent news. The moment you lie down and the room abroad becomes quiet, that radio suddenly turns the volume up high. It starts telling you stories full of anxiety, about unresolved financial troubles, about the silent aches of old age, or scenarios of loneliness that may never happen. Kindred friend, there is a naked truth that Buddhist wisdom invites you to recognize. Your mind is a great storyteller, but not every story it tells is true. Modern science has proven that every day, the human brain produces tens of thousands of different thoughts. Yet, the amazing thing is that over 90% of them are just repetitive film reels, usually tinged with fear and old habitual tendencies from the past. Our biggest mistake, the thing silently eroding your life force every night, is choosing to believe every idea that pops into your head. When an anxious thought appears, you immediately role-play it, letting it lead your nervous system deep into the land of instability. Enlightened Zen masters possess a completely different secret of liberation. They do not try to extinguish thoughts. They simply do not believe in them. To a monk, thoughts are like strangers visiting the house of the soul. That guest may wear the face of fear or regret, but the masters just quietly stand beside them, observing without inviting them to the tea table for discussion. They look at thoughts like looking at clouds passing across the sky of the being. Clouds can be pitch black, can carry storms, but the sky remains blue and clear, whole, and has never been harmed by any cloud. When you master the art of not believing, a biological miracle takes place at that very moment. When you do not role-play anxious thoughts, your neural bridge will not ring the red alert bell. The brain will recognize that this is just a temporary psychological event and not an actual danger. Immediately, your body stops secreting stress hormones. Your chest expands, the heart rate becomes stable, and the entire deep recovery system is reactivated. Etch this truth as an anchor for your soul in the darkness. Your body heals when your thoughts stop creating danger. Tonight, when anxious thoughts come knocking again, I invite you to smile gently at them. Do not chase them away, nor hold on to them. Just silently say, "Ah, I see you." An anxious thought is passing through again. When you establish the position of a leisurely observer, you are returning to your body a vast space to recover. Let those ghosts dissolve into the void, for you are the vastest sky, where peace has never been moved. Lesson 4. Impermanence. The key to releasing long-held tension. Try to quietly contemplate the rhythm of the tide at a distant shore at dusk. Each wave rises grandly and then quietly recedes, rhythmic and endless. No wave stands still forever, nor does any flow of water refuse to return to the ocean. Kindred friend, the wisdom of impermanence, also known as anicca in Buddhism, is a biological miracle capable of unlocking every shackle of stress weighing down your body for so long. There is a compassionate truth that the anxious mind has hidden from you. Every emotion, every wave of stress or anxiety is actually only a temporary biological state. From a scientific perspective, they are merely electrochemical vibrations and hormone flows with a natural birth and death cycle. Anxiety inherently only wants to pass through you like a wind blowing across a tree branch. Yet, our silent tragedy is often trying to freeze those waves in the middle of the night. When a sadness or pressure strikes, instead of letting it flow away, we use resistance to hold it tight. We busily analyze, busily find ways to solve pain while lying in bed. We imprison fear in tensed shoulders, confine irritation in a constricted abdomen. This very act of holding on to find a solution unintentionally interrupts the natural cycle of emotion, preventing your nervous system from ever completing the loop of pressure release. Zen masters never fix their emotions. They simply perform the art of permission. They understand that emotion is like early morning mist. It is only brilliant and dense when we try to see through it, but will automatically dissolve into the void when we quietly let it be present. When you stop touching pain with resentment or repair efforts, your nervous system receives a supreme order of liberation. When encountering no obstruction from the ego, long congested energies will automatically dissolve, making way for the life force to circulate smoothly again. Etch this final affirmation to soothe your being. When you stop holding emotion, the body releases it. The greatest recovery of a human always takes place in the entrustment to the flow of impermanence. You do not need to be the one healing your body. You only need to be the one allowing life to operate according to its own leisurely rhythm. Tonight, let your breath lighten. Let every psychological state come and go freely, like the rhythm of the tide offshore, for the compassionate darkness is here to help you wash away every trace of yesterday. Lesson 5. Letting go of control, the threshold of deep recovery. There is a silent but harmful habit most of us fall into when we lie down, the effort to be the director for tomorrow. You lie there, but the mind busily sketches scripts for upcoming conversations, manages the success of children, or anxiously arranges plans abroad. We mistakenly believe that if we manage thoroughly enough tonight, we will prevent the uncertainties of tomorrow. We believe that stress is proof of responsibility. But kindred friend, understand this silent mechanism of the brain. In the language of the nervous system, control equals combat duty. When you try to solve your life right on your bed, you are sending an alarm signal to the brain. The problem is not finished. We are not allowed to rest. In that moment, though your body is motionless under warm blankets, inside, the sentry stays awake to protect your roles. A nervous system busy managing the future will never have enough space to activate deep recovery mode. Zen masters understand a liberating secret. True power does not lie in holding the steering wheel of life, but in the ability to leave the driver's seat when night falls. In Buddhist wisdom, this is the art of sacred entrustment. Letting go of control is not weakness or irresponsibility. It is the pinnacle of wisdom to understand that one only has power over action, not the management of results. Monks enter sleep by performing a decisive power off command. They declare to the universe, "All arrangements for today have truly ended. Now, I return the right of guidance to the flow of causes and conditions. Tonight, I invite you to perform a great energy shift, replace tightening with floating." When you courageously let go of the desire to control all things, the parasympathetic nervous system will immediately receive the order to begin the work of regeneration. Your heart rate slows, your breath becomes vast, and the door to the kingdom of healing will automatically fling open brilliantly. You are no longer a wobbling boat trying to swim against the current. You become the river, leisurely and freely flowing toward the ocean of ease. Etch this affirmation to soothe your being before drifting into deep sleep. Healing begins when control ends. Do not be afraid of not knowing what tomorrow will bring. Trust in the wisdom of the cosmic rhythm operating within you. When you stop managing life, life truly has the space to care for and revive you most completely. Tonight, allow yourself to be anonymous, purposeless, without control, only the pure presence melting into the compassionate arms of the night. Lesson 6. Self-compassion, the safe space for recovery. Try to be quiet and listen carefully to the silent voice echoing inside your mind at this very moment. As night falls, amidst the silence of the room abroad, what is that voice whispering? Is it a secret reproach for things you didn't complete today? A harsh judgment of the limitations of age? Or a late regret for some past mistake? Kindred friend, it is a painful reality that for too long we have unintentionally become the harshest judge of ourselves. We treat the world with compassion, but treat our own being with the lashes of criticism. You need to understand a silent mechanism of the nervous system. Every time you judge yourself, the brain immediately interprets it as an attack. In that moment, the nervous system identifies the environment inside you as unsafe. Consequently, muscles tighten, stress hormones secrete, and the door to the kingdom of healing is closed once again. A nervous system busy fighting itself will never have enough resources to perform the miracle of regeneration. The wisdom of Zen masters does not teach coercion, but teaches self-compassion. Monks treat their minds not as an enemy to be conquered, but as a weary soulmate. They practice gentle awareness. When a negative idea arises, they do not use willpower to extinguish it, nor do they get angry with themselves for being agitated. They simply smile and soothe it with love. Tonight, I invite you to take the most courageous step of the soul, lay down the sword of criticism. Imagine your mind right now is like a child trembling with fear of the dark. What would you do with a frightened child? Surely you would not scold or drive them away. You would sit down, take that child into your arms, and whisper the warmest comforting words. Silently tell yourself right now, you have worked hard, you have done the best you could. At this very moment, you are allowed to be okay. You are allowed to rest. When you change your internal language from judgment to soothing, you are sending a supreme order to every cell. The war is truly over. The Master has reconciled with themselves. Now, we are safe. The moment this safety signal is established, your nervous system will perform a spectacular shift, loosening all tension and opening wide the door for the healing life force to flow brilliantly. Etch this sacred affirmation as a soft pillow for your soul. Your body heals when your mind feels safe. Healing does not start from an external medicine. It starts when you courageously drop the iron armor of strictness to embrace your being with all primordial tenderness. Tonight, let compassion be the warmest blanket protecting you, taking you into deep sleep in the most complete reconciliation of the soul. Lesson 7. Entering sleep with the light of awareness. Contemplate the miraculous moment of transition when night begins to draw its curtain over all things. It is a fragile threshold where the world of action closes and the kingdom of rest begins to open. Kindred friend, the wisdom of mindfulness points to a profound truth that the hectic pace of life has unintentionally obscured. The quality of the entire overhaul inside you does not depend on how long you sleep, but on your state of consciousness, the moment you step over that threshold. Most of us fall into sleep in a daze and exhaustion. We collapse into bed after a long day of worrying abroad, letting muddled thoughts take us into dreams aimlessly. In the language of neuroscience, this is when the brain closes forcedly, when energy is depleted, but stressful work sessions are still running in the subconscious. Consequently, even though you are asleep, the mind still wanders in the labyrinths of anxiety. However, Zen masters never let themselves be swallowed by sleep like that. To them, The moment of closing the eyelids is a solemn ritual of awareness. They understand that the few short minutes before the heart rate slows are the golden time to reprogram the entire nervous system. Instead of disappearing into unconsciousness, they enter sleep with a lamp of awareness lit brightly inside. I invite you to perform this great identity shift tonight. Stop being a hunter of sleep. Become one who opens the door to receive rebirth. Instead of using willpower to force yourself to sleep, an act that inherently only increases tension, perform an act of mindful entrustment. Take a very soft breath, feel the rhythmic pulse of life force spreading through your body, and gently tell your consciousness, there is no more worldly business now. I am completely present here to allow healing to take place. When you enter sleep with compassionate awareness, you keep the parasympathetic nervous system in its most dominant state. Your heart rate will stabilize, blood pressure will regulate, and the door to the kingdom of deep recovery will be flung open. You are giving your body an invaluable gift, an atmosphere of absolute safety for the life force to be reborn most brilliantly throughout the next 8 hours. Etch this final affirmation to guide your soul. Sleep heals you when you enter it with awareness. Tonight, let gentle awareness bring you back to your primordial being. You do not need to do anything more. All arrangements of the will have ended. Just let yourself melt into this sacred silence, for in that mindful entrustment, you will find a rebirth that effort has never been able to bring. Kindred friend, let the shared words quietly settle into your consciousness, like golden dust particles slowly falling to the bottom of a still lake in the middle of the night. We have traveled together through 7 paths of wisdom, not to carry more heavy knowledge, but to untie every binding string of vigilance, returning to the temple of the body, a complete space of freedom. You see, the greatest secret of the monks is not any supernatural power. That secret is simply, they never force healing. They only learn the art of stopping obstructing it. Understand a compassionate truth before you truly melt into the dream world. Your body already inherently carries within it a great memory of wholeness and an incomparable rebirth, wisdom from the beginning. It does not need you to use willpower to command cells or adjust nerves. It only patiently waits for you to courageously step back so it can perform its function. When the resistance of the ego ends, the miracle of recovery will automatically flow most radiantly in the darkness. Tonight, you do not need to be a saint, nor do you need the effort to be more perfect. You only need to perform the most courageous step of the soul, let go. Etch this final affirmation to guide your leisurely sleep. Tonight, do what monks have always done, let go, and allow your body to heal itself. If this journey brings your heart even a little relief, I invite you to perform a ritual of certification for your consciousness right now. Write down in the comments the liberating mantra, I allow my body to heal itself. That affirmation will be the final safety seal, taking you into a dreamless sleep. Thank you for trusting and accompanying me on the path of awakening. Praying for you, a long, peaceful night, and a brilliant morning of rebirth in boundless joy. Goodbye, and sleep very well.